Give me the whole premise of what's your whole show. Like, what are you guys doing? I'm saying.
Everyone's going through it, but how faith makes a difference.
Yes.
And as soon as you start cutting out no longer aligned with values, you just start to flourish. And the longer you hold on to that, the longer you're dragged down. The more hurdles you go through, the more chaos you go through. I think it's recording now.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah.
And I think that's like a hard lesson that I learned, holding on too long, not knowing when to walk away from stuff.
Well, I think one of the big thing too is like a lot of people have faith, but then we still try to hold the steering wheel. It's like, hey, I have faith, but I'm driving. That doesn't work.
Welcome to Faith Talk with Val
and Sony.
We are a Bible-based podcast where we talk about real life, real struggles, and how faith makes all the difference.
We actually have some really great guests joining us today. So we have Willam, Ellet, and Jayson, Bove.
Oh boy.
Thank you guys for making the time to join us. Today's topic is actually going to be about faith and business. And we have some really successful men here today. So they're going to be sharing a bit about their stories and just how faith has played into your whole journey.
And before we get started, a little birdie had told me that your dad put a note on, you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring. So I'm just going to read this note that Jayson's dad left. And it says, "The heart of man plans his ways, but the Lord establishes his steps." Proverbs 16:9. And then it says, "Continue the course. You have started a movement with your heart plus vision. Believe that God will guide your steps," and many more through faith, hope, and love. Dad.
That was a real note. I walked in the office. I'm like, when did he come here? He pops in every once in a while and does that. It's cool though, because it's I'm a father of 5 boys, right? So then it's cool to see and learn from everything. But yeah, that was very powerful. And it was weird. So when I started, I've been in the company, in the industry, I'm in now for 11 years, right? So when I first started, all I wanted to do was do it with my dad, like just real quick. Like I'm like, "Dad, we got it. We finally figured it out." It was like 6 months, and he's like, "I'm not doing this." Like he's like, "This is not my dream." And now God works very powerful. So 10 years later, when I need him the most, he's now running around with us, and he's there more as we call him like Papa J. So he comes and does all the spiritual stuff and does that, but he does it for 5,500 agents we have now instead of just me. So God makes you wait sometimes for what you need. But yeah, I don't know what birdie gave you that, but that note was on my desk. But yeah, it's awesome. I'm gonna pass to youth over age.
Hey, and my name's Will. Sonia and my wife have been best friends forever. And I'm in the real estate industry. I'm a former teacher, washed up football coach, and
a pretty good football coach. Very good football coach.
And in the real estate industry, and then also own Arizona Casino Elite, which is a casino evental rent industry, and really got into, I would say, the church probably two years ago, and it really helped flourish kind of where I'm at in terms of business, my mental health, physical health, and all that correlated again back to what we're talking about today is faith in your business, and just let Jesus take the wheel and do the
I think what brought you guys to God 2 years ago was pretty crazy. Like you guys were going through a lot, like Talisa's health, your job shifting, the transitions, all of that. So tell us a bit about that. Whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah. So, my wife got sick a couple of years ago. She got breast cancer, and that's how Jayson started coaching. So Jayson and I were coaching together. I coached both of his sons out of the 15 million kids that he has. So, we started talking about, he was actually one of the only few that came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, I heard your wife is sick. Is she doing okay?" I don't know if you remember that. We were, and I don't really talk about my stuff, but, I wasn't going through the best mental health. I used to be a teacher. I went into real estate full time like 6-7 years ago now. And we had a chance to start a business with her brother as well. And just going into it, just kind of, backstory is just kind of when she got sick, I just kind of just said, F it with a lot of different things. Bills got tight, real estate got slow, this and that. And then, thankfully she got better. And then I'm going to credit my friend Michael Stubbs, like, "Hey, come to CCV with us." And, started going, and it just finally got to the point I was just like, you know what, this is like good for us, good for my family. And then, same thing like Jayson and I talked about on Sunday is just kind of cutting the shit out of your life of people and, like, hey, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, so I'm just kind of leaving it up to the guy upstairs to guide me with things. So
How would you say your life has shifted since you guys started going to church?
biggest thing is like not even in business, like, cause I'm a very high strung person as it is. You know, during,
should coach with him. He's
um,
mellow till he's not.
yeah.
That was my thing for Will. He's mellow till he's not.
We've seen him from the bleachers.
Yeah.
yeah, I will say, like, not to toot my own horn, but I had one of the best, you can cut this out, but one of the best defenses in the nation his son's junior year. And then last year was one of the top in the state too. I did the numbers the other day, by the way, but
I know.
But I would say, going to church, honestly, just mentally just helped me just be, I don't know, relieved, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Just kind of like a weight lifted off my shoulders because, like, I tried therapy. I tried talking to friends, and then, like, nobody understands what you're going through unless they're going through it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the reality of the situation. Like, I could talk to Jayson about, hey, dude, business is slow. Like, what do you do? Like, because everybody goes through their ebbs and
Yeah.
flows. But, like, it was just all in one. Like, every week there's a new story, there's a new thing. And that's why we like going to CCV so much, is it just started relating to us in real time, real life situations. Like, all right, like, we went to church the other day, and actually what you said is on Sunday when they talked about, just gripping the wheel. It's like, what do you need to let go of? And what wisdom, like, at the end of the day, we don't really know what's going to happen. Just let it happen and just let things go. Like, right now I'm dealing with the transaction, and me and the lender are going at it with each other. And then I just, as soon as we stepped in here, I was like, you know what? I just got to let this go. If this house closes next week, it closes. If not, like, I'm just going to figure it out. But, going to church, like, physically started getting back in shape. My wife, likes me again. And, no, I'm just kidding. She's the best.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. No, it just strengthened our relationship with our daughter. Our daughter loves going to church every Sunday. Like, and granted, she's 5. She doesn't grasp a concept, but she likes to dance. She tells me about the stuff she learns about Jesus, like, like all these different things. And
Side note, he has the most well-behaved daughter I have
cutest
ever
too.
seen.
Yeah.
She's
She's
so
awesome.
cute.
Yeah.
yeah, she's amazing. And,
It's all her mom, by the way.
and
It is.
it is. A lot of it's her mom.
I'm just joking.
And I can't say how thankful I am just in terms of, like, how it's helped me. Cause, like, granted, yeah, you hear church, and I would say growing up, going to church was just kind of looked at like a negative thing, because it's like, oh, you either get made fun of for going to church. And I know it's bad because, in the locker room, like, at football practice, because we both went to Centennial. So we were dealing with, we have scumbags there every day, but
Yeah.
or, like, you hear the people, like, oh, you're not doing this right. Like, there wasn't really a kind of a middle ground. And I think that's what church has helped us with, is like just being like what it is to be a good neighbor, a good husband, a good father. And then also just translating that into the business, because now, like, I don't want to screw people over, like, just, and it's helped me realize, like, when I'm dealing with somebody, what are they going through, or the basic things of, like, okay, is this going to affect my family? Am I doing the right thing? Like, am I able to control the situation? And that's, like, the biggest thing I took away from, like, last Sunday is just, I like to be in control, and there's sometimes I can't be it. Like, right now I'm dealing with the situation, I can't control it, and it's bugging me. And it's just like what they talked about is, like, let it go, a little Frozen reference, but how do I let this go? Like, and
Even your hand thing works. You're doing it.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's just like right now I'm
It's
arguing.
true.
I'm literally arguing with the lender. Like, right now you could see my text messages, and then, like, what do I do to let it go? And I will credit, like, to Lisa, my wife. Once you get it, you know, like go to church and do all these things. Cause we love going. Like, yeah, granted, every Sunday, you know, there's sometimes where things go on, like her mom's thing, like we're not able to go, but we started bringing her parents and they started, it's just all those like little things because like they didn't go because of us. They went because of my daughter. Like, cause you know, my, you know, daughter's like, Tata, you're going to church with me? And he's like,
Can't say no to that.
Yeah.
so they go and like, they love going and it's just like, we get to be uplifted for an hour. And I think, you know, that translates to, it's just basically a reset for the week for us. And then I know I'm rambling, but like what we talked about, like with my wife getting sick, like, okay, I can apply it to being a better husband. Like granted, cause I didn't deal with her being sick very well at all. Like I just kind of shut down mentally because like, you know, business got slow. Yeah, there was a lot that went on. I got sued. Won that case, by the way, but you know,
It all comes at once. Dude. It's like,
yeah,
bam,
it
works.
You know, I got sued, she got sick, business got slow. Like it was a trifecta. So everything, but now it's like, you know, finding the Lord, you know, going to church is just kind of like, whatever. None of this shit matters anymore. Like it just, you know, it just comes down to like, all I care about is my family, my friends, and my business. Like,
And I remember you saying during that time frame that your focus when she got sick was work. That was your outlet, work and football. You just started turning to those things, which actually made the situation at home worse.
yeah,
right?
no, and I just focused on work because, like, again, I can't control that situation. Like, and luckily everything was good. But again, she's like, hey, let's go to church. And my friend Michael was like, dude, come to church. Like, you know, all that. Like, we started going to church and it just was like,
It changes your perspective.
yeah. And it's baby steps. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, you know, like, okay, this is kind of cool.
That right there, because I feel like even in recent conversations we've had with people, everyone thinks like, oh, you're Christian, therefore you're
Everything.
holier than thou. You're this marker that you have to hold on to now, but that's not true. Like everyone's messed up.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the point of the Bible is nobody's perfect.
Nobody's
Like,
perfect. Yeah. And like that's part of the message that everybody that I talk to about God is like, no, you don't have to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You have to just keep getting back up and choosing to turn back to God each
Yeah.
time.
yeah. And I think that's like, that goes to our business stuff. And Jayson can attest for this. Like Jayson does so much stuff for our football boys that you guys can't even imagine. And a lot of it costs a lot of money, but like, it's not even about money for him. It's the kids get experience. His son gets to be with his boys. Like, you don't know how much like things people don't see behind the scenes that Jayson has done for these kids. And it's like with me, it's like football. It's like, we love football. We love being around those boys. Like we had a good football team, but he was blessed to have this stuff to give to these kids. Like, you know, like, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but like he paid for IVs for the kids on Fridays. Like that is,
What? That's so good.
but that's expensive. But
It's very
again,
expensive.
it's not about the money thing for him. It's about those experience for those boys. And also too, is like, he is able to do that because he's a good person. Like, it's not like he's hoarding his money. He is a little bit, but but it's like,
but
but
no, the IV thing was cool because we all like I don't know, man. Like we grew up in the same neighborhoods. We didn't come up with a lot, but if you be blessed, you bless others. But the kids loved it, man. It was fun, man. We got all the kids over.
yeah,
My wife would cook for them all. Like, I don't know. It's me and my wife. So I have two older kids from my previous marriage, right? So they're all in our family. And then our oldest is Dom. He's a senior, getting ready to graduate. So it's my wife's first one that's leaving the nest. And he made a tough decision his junior year to leave his school to come over where these guys were all at. And it was funny because I'm talking to him like, okay, it's like a business decision here because you have to sit out way. So like we're talking through and it was hard for him, but like where he was at, the kids, I didn't want to be around that group. And I'm like, you got to make a move. And it was the best thing that ever happened. I mean, dude, I miss this whole off season or this time of it. It's been terrible. The kids are all graduating now, so we're not out there together, but it was just a community we built. And I just happened to be blessed enough to do little things here and there, but we all got involved. Like even just all of it. That was good growth year for all of us. You know what I mean? As men too, watching those kids all be together.
I think that goes back to being like the faith thing is like, like as men, we have a responsibility to pass that down to, you know, taking care of, because like people see that he takes care of his wife and I take care of my wife and how good of a dad he is and like how I treat my daughter and like do all these other things. But again, that, you know, I think that goes back to having faith in our business and having faith in just what we're doing and, you know, our wives having faith in us and just having faith.
Bro, we got lucky. We got good wives. Because listen, you
got
know,
those Mexican women do slap us a little bit.
No, but it's true though, because that's how we were talking. It's kind of crazy. Like we just connected right away, and it's funny. The reason that I was so in tune to his wife with that stuff is because my mom's battling stage 4 ovarian cancer. So like when he brought it up, I was like, oh, I know. When it's my mom, it's not my wife. I can imagine. But we were just talking through it all. So when he first told it, he didn't know that about me. Yeah. So like the whole, you know, so it's crazy how things link together. But like it's just about caring for people. But for a lot, you know how to do things now once like you turn your life over, because before you weren't that way. Yeah. So people that are like very giving were probably very selfish at one point. So I mean, like you kind of start to understand that. But man, I got blessed because my wife, it's funny how you don't realize it when it's all happening. But I met her when I was 24, 25. We've been married 18 years now. Right. So we've been married for a very long time. And all the stuff I put her through, like she was the angel, like sticking all the way through. I'm like, I was not the way I am today. But it's crazy. You look back and I'm like, oh man, you were the one God sent me the whole time. You don't realize it. Right. So, and it's funny. I don't know.
He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
No, true. Yeah. Right. And I had a kid at 17 years old. So I was quite the maniac when I was younger. Right. And so I had a kid young, and I've always known to be present. Like you see my note from my dad, you know, so like I've always had good guidance, but I grew up from like the faith-based side. So I've always known Jesus. I grew up, my grandpa was a deacon for 37 years. Okay. So I grew up in the Catholic church. Like I never did know a day without it. Right. So, but it's funny, I'm going on my first mission trip to Kenya on July 3rd. So my son's actually, so I'll get there in a minute, but the reason I'm bringing that up is we have to tell like our testimony. And I'm like, man, like I'm kind of in my testimony. so I was telling the guy, like, how do I tell it when I'm like knee deep in it right now? And he's like, oh, just wait till you get to Kenya when you actually, so I'll explain what I mean there. Because like for me, I've never not known Jesus. Like I've just been, but like knowing him in a relationship are two different things. Like I always knew, but 10 years ago, we started going to Radiant Church, which is non-denominational Christian church. And then I started to realize, oh, there's like knowing him and then there's like a relationship. And then I go for another 8 years of being terrible. I'm just kidding. But you kind of, but you like you said, you know it. And like, listen to the stories you're saying about off camera for like the young ladies and stuff. Like you're all going through something to kind of get you where you have to be. So like, I hear a lot of stories like, oh, I grew up in a very toxic home. Like my parents partied, did stuff, but like they always found their way back together because of faith, right? Like even on the craziest times, like I used to watch some crazy stuff and I'm like, but they always found their way back. So I just realized, okay, that's just what it was. I got married very young after I got my 17-year-old. I mean, when I was 17, had my oldest, I'm sorry. Then we were married like 5 years. So it was like not really a marriage. It was like, we had to get married because we were Catholic. It's like, get married. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if we like each other, but let's do it. Right. So it was like very much traditional. Like this is what it is. And then I had like a little falling out because then I'm like, Des was Catholic also. So then we wanted to go get married again. And they're like, you have to do like the annulment. And I'm like, this is crazy. I have to like write a letter. You have to tell me yes or no. I don't even know these people. So I had a little disenfranchised because I was more focused on religion, not the relationship. Right. So anyway, so that's just, and then we started going to Radiant and start learning this, have a relationship and not. And that's a fun battle you have. Because like you guys say, everyone's like, oh, you're a Christian. It's easy. No, bro. Like you're still the same person trying to figure it out. And then you start tying in business. And then, if you're a driven person, most business starts off with like money, right? How much money can you make? What can you do? I've been blessed to stay grounded that I never really worried about that too much. But I've watched it just tear people apart. Like they go crazy, man. Right. Yeah. Especially that real estate market. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I work in insurance. So like life insurance retirement. So like these industries are all very much put out to like, go get it. But the way I got into it, so I was working at University of Phoenix. I know we have a similar background of where we used to work at, right? So I was working there and I just remember it clear as day. I loved my job actually. Cause most people say, oh, they go into entrepreneurship and start a business cause they hate what they do. I'm like, I liked people. So it was fine, right? I've always enjoyed people. But I was sitting someone told me like 2 weeks earlier, they said, if you want to know your life at your job, just look at someone 20 years ahead of you and look at their life.
Scary.
And I was like, yeah, no, but no one ever told me that. I always say, cause I was 33 when I started to actually think about doing my own business or something. Right. So I was a little bit older, but I was like very young in business. I don't know anything about it. Right. So I always had a job. So someone told me that and I looked and I'm like, oh my God, they're all miserable. Like every one of them. I'm like, hey, how do you like your life? I'm like, they didn't like their marriage. I'm like, this is terrible. 3 times divorced. I'm like, yeah, this is not the road I want to be on. So I always think God sends funny messages. I think he has a sense of humor. That's what I always joke, right?
Yeah,
We agree. Yeah.
And I'm always like, I call him like bro, let's roll, bro. Cause I talk to Aaron, they're like, you can't say that. I say whatever I want. It's my dude. It's my road dog, man. We're going together. Like I need you, right? I call everyone else, bro. Might as well bring him. So my point is I sat in a cube and I prayed. I said, Lord, like there's no way I'm supposed to sit in this cube the rest of my life. There's some other calling on my life. That's why I think what you guys are doing is dope. Like it's cool. Like you're like, we have an idea. Let's start a podcast on faith. Like the most not one. Most people are like, faith, what are you talking about? Like, but you guys are going against the grain. I like it. That's why I was like, as soon as he called me, I was like, I'm in. I think this is cool. Because if more people understand how cool it actually is, they would do it. They think it's not cool, but it's actually the coolest thing ever, right? It's you know what I mean? But it's like, but it is cool. It's just that people don't get it yet.
I think like the more people dive into the Bible, the more you realize
yes,
how cool, how dramatic, how all the things.
It's the best soap
It was funny.
opera.
I was
the
literally,
best soap opera.
I was telling my dad, because we went to a men's breakfast, right? Because I'm like, maybe I'm just a simpleton. Like my life, like I'm just very simple. Like I was never going to create an app or be a scholar. I tell you that. But like things are simple. And I'm like, I was walking and my dad's very analytical, right? Tell this letter, right? So I'm like, but Dad, if you really think about it, it's really easy. There's only one option. Like we make it harder it has to be, but it's like you're team Jesus or you're out. Like there's no, and it's like, it's really simple. Like, but it's complex. You know what I'm trying to say?
There's like the sense of peace. Like when you know God's going before you, it's like, if it fails, it fails.
Yes.
Because there's a better path or there's something else waiting.
Yeah, it's 2 options. Either it fails, like God's always leading it. And he allows us to have choice. So either you're making the wrong choices, like so it's but it's pretty simple. That's what I was telling my dad. But getting back to it, so then I prayed in that cube that day, and I was just like, dude, there's got to be something else. And 9 days later, my mother-in-law calls me. My mother-in-law's Puerto Rican, and she's like relentless. So I called. She's like, do you want to meet this insurance guy? I'm like, insurance guy? What are we talking about? I don't know anything about insurance. I have no desire to do that. Like I was supposed to be in the NFL, by the way. Okay, that didn't work out. But anyway, anyway, so yeah, so I ended up. That's how I got on the path of here, and it's been 11 years, which has been awesome. But I think one of the cool parts is we've always tried to have faith around it. When I say faith, though, first it was more like the word faith.
Yeah.
Right. Like have faith. It's going to work out. But like really introducing like prayer and stuff. So for like the last 6 years, we open every meeting in prayer. Love it. Which is like crazy because we got like, you got to realize like it's a very collective group. Like they're all different walks and backgrounds. But every morning I say, hey, first 5 minutes we open in prayer. If you want to come later.
Got to witness that. I went into the office and we were signing documents and you guys were in the office right next door. And I think you're having like a team meeting or something, but the door was open. So I could hear like how pumped everybody was. You started with prayer. Like it was actually really nice to see. Yeah. Starting with that. And
but it's been crazy, but it's because I'm on there and I'm always like, oh, faith. Because I want everyone to be able to find their journey. Right.
Yeah.
I always say this to everybody. Like there's no way everything I've done in my life up to like, that's why grace is so important for other people too. Cause like, there doesn't make any sense. Like there's no way. And I always say like, if you have a circle of prayers around you, like my I mean, they've been praying us forever. I got blessed to have a lot of people that were praying for us, like, or especially for me, you know, cause there ain't no way if you take the roadmap I went, we're not supposed to be sitting here. Right. So I think a lot of it is in just remembering why you're here, right? We're here to serve, not to do anything else. Right. And you can't get caught up in the flesh stuff, which is hard, especially as you keep moving up. You know, if God keeps blessing you, right? Because I always laugh because I always done like they said you got to tithe. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was very like transactional because I'm a business person. Like if you do this, you do this. Checking the box, and I'm like, oh, I'm making it to heaven all day long. Check. And I'm like, that's not how it works, dude. Like you're like, ooh, I'm winning. And they're like, no, you're not winning. You're actually losing, right? And then you hear about the taxpayer. I'm like, I need to be that guy real quick. But anyway, but long story short, like. So I was always like, I don't know, it's just how I've always been. So I can do it. And then, but like, I always felt like empty. So it was funny though, because I remember like tithing, because like they're talking about doing the stuff for like the kids, right? I'm like, so I just 10%, like $25, $50, but I was always fired up because I'm like, I'm doing it, right? And now I'm like tithing what I used to make in a year. It's crazy. I'm like, And I'm like, but it doesn't change when you're doing $25. It's all the same. You're just like, please, Pastor, you are good with this. I'm just kidding. But you know what you're giving it up for. But it's really awesome, dude. You could literally live on, if you actually follow all the principles, you can live on 60% of it. So I was able to do that. And it's like, you just don't worry about it. And if you don't worry, like you have to actually believe that he's going to do his work with it. And it's not about, that's just one aspect of it. Right. But I'm like, my mom was supposed to have like 90 days. She's been around 3 years. I mean,
Awesome.
but like, even if
so
it was 90
awesome.
days, that's what you just got to understand it. Like, it's going to be the story. But my mom sends 250 messages out in the morning of scripture to everybody. I'm like, Mom, take a deep breath. You're 3 hours. But like, she's always been that way. She was the one big in youth ministry. She was the one so she's always been the little fireball. My dad has got some swag for my mom. You know, she probably wrote that. I'm just kidding. It's his handwriting. I'm kidding around, right? But I'll just say, I think getting back to the business aspect, I just think a lot of people are afraid to introduce it in because they believe it's going to limit their business, but it's not true.
I would say, fun fact, Sonia was my first client pretty much in everything in business.
Yeah, we've done a lot of business actually.
Yeah, she was my first home sale, both of my first home sales, listing and buying, and then also through Universal Wealth.
Yeah.
But I like to say, just going back to business and like God blessing, like especially when I was going through my whole like growth and I'm like thinking retirement. I'm thinking just how I can make sure that I'm taken care of too. And there was a point where some people called me greedy. Like, why do you want to invest so much? Why do you want to, all of that? But then I look at the people that are in my life and I think to myself, like, the blessings that come to me, similar to you, I've been able to help people get housed for affordable places who live in really nice neighborhoods now. So the way I see it is like, when I win, they win. And
Fact.
It's like the pressure that it's like self-imposed pressure, right? But I feel like God has blessed me so much. And the fact that I'm stewarding it and just, like you said, it's not even like how much I'm giving or like how I'm helping. It's more like the impact that it's making. It's not me.
Yep.
And I used to be very like checklist, and then when people would ask, even recently, like when we were doing like all of the housing stuff, I remember thinking to myself like, oh, this is how I did it. And this is step by step and you can do it too. And then again, like it's when life hits you hard and everything like falls apart that you realize like, actually I had nothing to do with it.
Yep.
It was all God. God built it and he can destroy it and he can give it back and all of that. So
I would say I'll give you credit too. And I don't know if you want to put this on package, but you're giving your sister and your nieces a place to live. Like
they pay their own mortgage.
They
I
didn't
just
pay it,
I don't pay their mortgage.
that you're giving them an opportunity to live in a nice neighborhood, good schools.
Hey, but I got to say something real quick because you have to own this because you just said this and it's on camera, right? So I know you got a little personal with the people, but like that's actually God getting it done when you got uncomfortable.
Wait,
you said
what part?
But you're like, well, they're paying their own. Okay, yeah, but I think the part we're trying to say is like your blessing became someone else's blessing.
Yeah.
I'm saying this out loud because we are all the worst with it. Like we have to be able to. It's not you, but we have to let it shine through us because it is God working through. So
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
you can't. I mean, however the circumstances are working out.
Yeah.
Like you were describing the neighborhood before it said it, but then he just happened to throw. I heard I could probably pick it up quickly because you were describing it in a way. He just happened to put people to it, but
Yeah.
like how cool is that? Like my dad's able to be on payroll now.
Yeah.
But my mom, like I wanted to be him. I wanted to retire him forever. He's like, you're not retiring me. I'm your dad. I'm like, okay, it's weird. Okay, have someone else retire you then.
Yeah.
But like I always wanted to be able to do that, and now when I say I do it, I'm not doing anything. Like there has to be enough funds every time to come in, but like he would not do it. He would not freaking retire until my mom got her stage 4 cancer and he didn't have a choice. Like he's like, oh, and then right at that moment is the exact time I had enough money to do it. Come on. So I'm saying like, it's all part of it. It's something I've always, see, God placed it on, he'll place on you a long time ago. Like he'll always place it in there. And then you're like, why am I thinking of this? Right. And then you start saying stuff. And here's something I learned along the way too. Never take constructive criticism from someone that hasn't constructed anything.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we start to take that in and it's like, where is it coming from? Because people that actually have God on their heart are not ever going to steer you in the wrong direction. But we end up listening, and I've done this my whole career, trust me, up to like very recently. Okay. You listen to people that, like you mentioned, like if God's not walking in with them, right, then we don't need to be talking at all. Like, and you don't need them to say, God's with me. It's just like, watch them for 4 seconds and you're going to know right away. And especially when you're really, you feel it. It's just
You
feeling.
see the fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a feeling. And you're just like, oh yeah, that person's like, Because a lot of people right now, like there's this, but I'm actually happy you guys are doing this because I'm watching this and I'm praying every morning but there's a lot of people using God's name in front of what they're doing right now. And I don't think the intentions, but I'm just saying, I think it's like I feel like there's this fad going on. Like it's like, I'm like, wait, yesterday you were doing, and I'm not saying God can't heal quick. So I want to be very clear. I'm like, it just seems very, it's like all in these sales programs now. It's like, I'm like, whoa, buddy. Like, you don't have to you don't say it if it's it. And I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't want to get any deeper on this because this is not the podcast.
But it's true.
But it seems like there's this, like, I just feel like if you're saying it over and over and over again, like there's that's like,
what's your agenda?
That's like a sign. And it's, but people right now are trying to find their faith. Everything says it's how you live the way you're living your life will then portray what it is, not look at me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep on that, but that's why when I heard what you guys are doing, it intrigued me. Because like I met you obviously, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's like makes sense. I didn't have to take much further to realize. I didn't know there was two of you until until like when I walked in the door, I was like, whoa, there's two of you. Yeah. So like they say we're two or more gather.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a very interesting time. And I think if we can all just like be the light, not like obviously you guys are putting it out there, but I think people too, they do get this perception of like you have to be perfect. That's not it. But there's also a side to it where I had to learn. You know, in Catholic church, it's like get in trouble on Saturday, repent on Sunday, you're back at it again. Like that's not how it works either. You're supposed to like not
hold yourself accountable too.
Yeah, but I think that's the other thing. Like it's just once you actually start to really walk, like you're just like you understand you're not doing the same things over, but you can't just keep doing it over and be like, oh, I'm good. Like so we were talking about yesterday. Literally, when he told me we were going to come on here, we were talking, and I was like, yeah, man, like. You have to get away from those people in your life that keep doing the same thing. I don't care if it's your brother, your sister, your cousin. Like you have to distance yourself until they figure out whatever their walk is, but you can't judge them. You just got to let them figure it out. Like everyone's on their own journey, but you don't like keep going. Hey, keep going back to you can't keep going back.
There's a verse that says that actually go as far as it depends on you. The rest is in God's hands and it depends on them.
Yeah.
Going back, to having faith in the business is like I said before, all that stuff that was going on, but also it just gives me a blueprint in my business because now it's like, am I doing the right thing? Because like you said before, if you're just, all right, I'm doing it this way, in God's way, the fruits are going to come to you. Like your reward is going to be greater than like your, the money, I could make 10X versus 8X, but that 8X, I'm doing the right thing. And then
it opens other doors.
Correct. And then that's going to lead to another 10X.
Yeah.
Like we don't see what's going on. And, I think that's like how my business started to flourish. Like I can throw out my accolades. I can do this, I can do that. But like, I think just having that faith and just doing the right thing. Like I can post on social media that I've helped my football players out and I've done this, or I'm the, I got an email the other day. I'm like the top 2% realtor for the year so far. Like,
oh, well.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to. You can cut that out because I really don't care. But I don't post stuff like that. Like, I give credit to my friends. You mentioned this before. Surround yourself with people I started surrounding myself with very successful business people. I don't know about him, but I'm just kidding. He's, the fastest growing insurance, life insurance firm probably in the United States. How many agents do you have now? 5,500. And I would say 2 years ago, what did you have? Like 2,000? You had like 2,500?
Oh, we had 50 when we made the shift over. So yeah, it's
Wow.
50.
So, like surrounding yourself with the same people with values. And, that's again, leading a blueprint in my life. And it's also led a blueprint like with Talisa and my wife of like, she's pushing me to do the right things in business. Like, and that's ultimately led to like higher revenue, higher this. Like, granted, I have my slip ups. I think everybody does, but like I think it's made such an impact on me. Like, I even got a tattoo of a cross on me a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like,
I know, dude, that's newer. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I was checking it out the whole time. Like, when did that come? I didn't see that. When we were all together.
But again, that goes back. She was my first in business with everything. And that's like opened the door for me of like, you've referred me out to people. Like you've done all these things. And like, like I said, you've helped your sister out. And I throw Sonia under the bus with this one too. Is like, she bought another home in another part of the valley, because I won't say it, that she helped her brother out, that he was staying there. And her brother ended up moving closer to the valley.
All I heard so far is if I need somewhere to live, I know who I'm going to. That's the common theme here, okay?
We ended up selling her house, the other house that her other family member was living. But I'll be honest, I did not think it was going to sell that fast. But it sold within, I think we put it on the market and it sold within a week. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, it's just weird how those little things just happen without, I don't want to say thinking about it, but
But like every interaction, like every real estate transaction that I've done has always worked out for the better. Even the ones that I was like so disappointed in, like, oh, I didn't get that house, or oh, this didn't work out. The house I did get was better and cheaper in a better neighborhood. Just the schools were better.
Yeah.
So, and I think about like my family or, the people who do end up living there. I grew up, we've talked about this before. Like I grew up in like a rough neighborhood, and we grew up in a 1-bedroom house. There was 6 of us. Like it was rough. So I think that's where my passion for real estate came from.
Yeah.
It's like space, houses,
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of it is having faith that God provides. And you mentioned this vaguely earlier. How's it going to get paid for? How does it just fall together? And I have a saying that I always tell everybody, like, how do you do it? I don't know. God pays the bill.
Yep.
I really don't know how. Every month, even when there's like a struggle,
Yep.
even when it's like, oh, that's kind of close, it just happens.
the same thing. It's like, sometimes when I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay a bill. And then it's like, well, oh, here's this transaction. This transaction just closed. Or like, this happened. And you're like, okay, cool. Like going back, this is why I wanted to bring Jayson on here, because we're in the same mold. Like we love, like we had a crazy past, and sorry to
Speak for yourself, sir.
but we have this past, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're doing the right things, we're doing all this, and then in the business world, how do we translate that? Like, I think just putting, I don't want to say when I go to every sale or like at night, like I pray, but it's like there's in my car, I'm like, all right, come on, man, I say man instead of bro. I'm like, all right, come on, man, like let's get this going. And Talisa's uncle, I don't know if you met him. You meet Tito Chris?
Yeah.
So he's very successful. He owns like a bazillion adult daycares in Vegas. He lives right across the street from Mike Tyson. Like he's uber successful. And Talisa's Lola, which is her grandma in Filipino, always told him before every meeting, pray for them. And he's told us that, like, pray for that person. Don't pray for you.
Yep, smart.
Like pray for them. And
Yeah.
what does that mean? He's like, because they need to be able to see what you're talking about. Like pray for them, because you already have like what you're doing. So I can't say I've done it all the time, but like I've tried to do it a couple times, like, and again, praying looks different from everybody. Like, I just sit in my car. I'm like, all right, dude, I need this. Like, what can we do to get this going? Like, in my car talking to myself, like,
hey, it is crazy. The funny part is it's all unexplainable. Like getting to the Kenya trip. So my son, it's just funny how it always comes, right? So my son, so my 2 older boys, okay, this past weekend I walked down to their prayer partners. I'm like, Lord, I need someone to help me with this, because I need to get those boys back with me. They're all around me. Like our kids, he knows all. My kids are awesome, right? They're good kids, but they are not locking in with me on the old faith column right now. But they're not crazy. They don't do it, but they're good kids. But they're just like, I'm like, dude, like I'm going to threaten you with your job. I'm kidding. You can't do it to your kid. Anyway, so I went and I had them pray. So I'm at church, right? My 11-year-old is like eyes closed, like letting it rip. I'm like, Nate Dogg's got like Jesus in his soul. I'm like, you good, bro? He's like, I'm in it, bro. And I was like, all right. So he's all good. Like, so like my 18-year-old, my 15-year-old, and then my 10-year-old and my 6-year-old with me and my wife now, like they're all hands on deck, right? They're all in it. And I'm like, man, what about my 2 other little lost souls running around? Anyway, so I went down and I prayed for them. I had them prayer partners pray for him. So anyway, my 18-year-old is like super quiet. He's like my wife. He's very quiet. But like he's always been serving at church. Like my mom was always serving, so he would serve. And then I'm like, dude, you got to go like to youth, dude. He's so used to being around like adults, right? Like being with us. And then I'm like, you know, you got to go like to the youth one. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm praying for him, I'm asking. And then one day he comes home, he's like, I'm going to go to youth. And I'm thinking, I did it. Like, finally, you know, this is like, Dad, like I did it, right? Yeah, go figure. No, God did not make it be me. So he's at I laugh because he's at after they're done serving, they had to do like a little class. Some other kid comes up to him that's like 20 years old and his name's Kevin. He's like, hey, why don't you come over to the youth thing, right? So that's who God sent to get him, not his dad. Okay, it wasn't me, right? But I thought it was the whole time.
You prayed for Kevin.
Yeah. I didn't know at the time, but here's what's so crazy about this, right? So then I meet Kevin one of the Sundays. I'm like, hey, dude, thank you. It was awesome. Dom's starting to get all on fire. Like this kid's like, oh, he's on fire, bro. Right? So I had a kid at 17. Okay. So of course every kid is getting to that age. I'm like, okay, no babies, you know, it's like putting into the world you're not supposed to. I'm like, okay, one's 27, made it. You're 23, you made it. Dom, you're up next. But my 18-year-old and my 15-year-old, both their girlfriends are like on fire for God. Like it's like awesome, right? I'm like, okay, we did good. All right, we did good. But anyway, my point to it is, so I meet Kevin and then obviously own this insurance company and I'm holding a meeting at the office and I see Kevin walking in. I'm like, the heck? What's this kid here for? It's like, what? It's like, now it's getting weird. He's following me around. I'm just kidding. So he comes walking in the door and he's with his parents, obviously. And I'm like, Kevin, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, my mom and dad are in your company. I'm like, what? So someone else had recruited them into our company. And I'm like,
small world.
Crazy, right? But that couple, like, first of all, I'm like, man, your son like saved my son's life. They've literally, I mean, when I go to Radiant Church on Sunday, everybody's in our company. It's unreal.
Wow.
God just, you might as well be universal wealth. I'm just kidding. It's been literally crazy. And all I've prayed for every time is like, man, if people in this church would understand what we actually do for people. Like I've been praying and I'm thinking like, this guy gets my son. And like, it's been just unreal. But it's how God will always move. But yeah, I mean, I was so proud of myself. I was like, I did it. And he's like, yeah, no, you didn't, bro. It's never going to be you. So it's always those humbling moments, like, you know, and you just got to realize, because like I said, faith is one thing, right? You got to have faith, but then you have to really make sure every time you're letting everyone know that it's not you. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be careful. I think guys struggle a lot with that because like, we feel like we have to be this, you have to be this image, you have to be this certain thing, you have to be the man now. Right? So like, there's this thing, like you said, you just deal with under the line, and like to say someone else is doing it makes you feel like you're like inferior, which is not true. But it's just something I think a lot of dudes deal with. I watch a lot, especially in the business world. Oh my gosh, dudes. Especially entrepreneurs, like when they actually lead the 9 to 5, it's like this other ego comes out. And it's like, so I think just if you're called to be a leader in it, like he's a leader, I'm a leader, like you have to set that example over. And yes, you are. You are. No, but like, dude, like how we connected. But you have to make sure. So like you have to set that foundation. And that's what like right now we're going through. It's like, you almost have to do like a massive reset, and like you have to get on your knees and ask, man, like, hey, you got to clear everything out. And it's crazy to watch people you've been running with for 5 years is like, but like the craziest part is like, it's the most peace in the world. Cause you're sitting there and you're like, oh my, like naturally you want to put your hand back on the wheel and go have a conversation with someone, or you even see people you love and care about just totally making the worst decisions. And you're like, but you gotta let it be. Cause that's the path they have to go down.
Yeah.
Every time you try to step in, you're messing up the path. It's hard.
I think that's the hardest.
It's hard as heck. You're like, nay, babies, right? But it's crazy, man, how he'll strengthen everything else around you. That's why when I'm saying about my wife, like we're talking like recent stuff. So then my son gets all this stuff and he's like, there's a mission trip coming up. And I'm like, where are we going?
Is it Dom?
Yeah, Dom. He's like, I'm going to Kenya. I'm like, that's cool. So I'm like, for him, like it's a youth one. I'm like, that's cool. Like kind of like no big deal. And I'm thinking, all right, we'll get him ready. And then the pastor Christian, the youth pastor, is kind of like, hey, does your dad want to go? And I'm like, well, it was really, but what's crazy about the whole, I'm like, yeah, I'll go do it. Right. All I care about is not getting eaten by no safari animals. Okay. That's why I asked if you had a dog. Okay.
I think the thing that you have to worry about more is malaria.
No,
and the
no.
Wait.
No, I'm fine with all that. Listen, it's the animals. They're going to take me out there.
No,
Val?
I've been to Kenya.
She did the world race. So she's been to 11
different countries.
Okay.
I stayed a month in every single country.
Dang.
I was in Africa for 4 months.
Okay, so I'm not gonna get eaten by animals.
That's like the least of your worries.
Okay. All right,
Like
well, I'm
I was
feeling
in
better.
Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Rwanda.
Okay.
And I think it was in Kenya. No, I recovered in Kenya. So I have good memories of Kenya.
They said they said the Kenya we should be fine. Like we went over this whole breakdown. They said that should be good. Now you're gonna be freaked out for about 2 seconds. Now I'm feeling better again. Okay, I'm back in.
I got malaria when I was in Uganda and I almost died.
What?
I was in the hospital for like a week. I went with a group of like 40 different people from all across the United States. I didn't know them. I didn't plan to know them because I have this thing where I'm just like, when you enter scenarios and you're scared and you don't know what to expect. So essentially with the team of 40 people, they gave us like this Facebook group and they're like, make connections before you get there. So you have
You're
a safety
wild.
net.
You're wild.
So I'm just like,
Whole year.
God, I'm going to go in without a safety net because you need to teach me how to like fend for myself, how to like just truly depend on you. What does it feel like to go in without a safety net? And I remember going in and everyone was like, hey, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like running to like their people that they've been talking to for months. And I know absolutely no one. And I'm like, God, like, help me. This is where you make me charismatic. This is where you help me. This is where you help me like build relationships. I was like, you're the only person I know and you need to help me make friends like quick because I'm like a loner right now. And I remember God saying like, you like this, I'm the only person that you need. So I like started talking to people and we started talking and then fast forward to now, I think because of that experience, when there's like scary situations, people you don't know, I'm just like, let's go for it. Let's go for it. I was like, God, you're with me. You're like my only net. I know people talk about like networking a lot and things like that. And I'm just like, I don't need to network because I know the person who can get me everything I need to do. And I need to do like a Matthew 6:33, but first seek the kingdom of God and everything else shall come. And I feel like if we all did that, God will truly lead us to the people that we're supposed to connect with. Obviously, you could do it your own way. You could do all the grunt work and do it. And I'm sure you can get there, but I'm just like, I don't want to work hard. I want to work smarter. So I was like, God's like, prioritize me.
Got a good training when I get back for all my agents. We're gonna do this instead. Yeah, you know. I know that's actually very smart. That's good. See, that was very good. No, it's true. That's actually the fastest way to get there. On camera, I'm borrowing it.
Copyright it.
You can copy the rights. No, it's actually very smart though.
Yeah.
It does save. That's what I was trying to say. Same thing I was saying about the like when you sit down and actually go through the Bible. I mean, it's not it's right there. So I'm not. It's not easy to stay on track. That's not what I mean. But like, it's really a simple message. Like that message right there is very powerful. You can go try to figure it out. But like I'm tripping because I'm like, okay, wait. So you came in, you got a life insurance policy, but then you heard in another meeting they were praying on the other side. Like you're telling, I'm like, and now we're all sitting here like
talking about God.
You know, and you're like, hey, I'll just wait to see who's coming next. You're just sitting in a chair like, who's showing up? Because I asked God to whoever. Now I'm watching your face when we walk in. You're like, I don't know. I guess they're supposed to be next. That's because of the way you do your game plan. Yeah. See, because your face is like, I don't know who's coming in this room. But hey, man, that was good.
Yeah, I think
I'm good. I'm done. Thank you very much, Lord. I'm just kidding. That was good though. It's smart.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think too is like, I think people realizing for business, like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, is like when they're leaving their 9 to 5 or they're trying to start a business, is like blueprint. I'm very analytical with things. Jayson can attest for like my football game plans. I'm very like,
yes,
I'm like a psychopath when it comes to it, but like same thing with numbers and things like that. But I had to learn this of like just saying F it. Here we go. Like I think the Bible, going to church, it just provides a blueprint for me of like running my business. Like, okay, I have this at the top. And then I liked what you said with the other day when we talked, is like faith, family, business is like, put those two first, the business will come rest.
Well, it's crazy too, because that's not how we got taught to come in. It's like business,
Yes.
everything else, but you have to balance it, and it's got to stay in that order. And if you get off track, you're going to get off track. So that's it's been very important. Like faith, family, and then business, whatever. I mean, business could be anything, But I think that's where people get off too. Like if your marriage, like, dude, that's what, like they say, what's worth gaining the world and losing? Like it's not worth it, right? So like you have to really pay attention to that, because you look at people that have a lot, but they're miserable as all get out, and then vice versa. You have people that have nothing, which that's what I'm gonna go learn. I'm not getting malaria, by the way. Don't not put that on me. Okay, no, I'm kidding. But like,
freak Jayson out.
Like,
now.
dude, I watched one video because I'm like super hype all the time, right? I watched one video. They put like all the kids were in this little area, and they were like putting on music, and they were going. I'm like, I think I'm a hype show. I'm like, these kids are gonna fire me up. Like, but it's just gonna be like a cool experience. But I get to do it with my son, which my son's the one that's like fire me up about all this. He's so fired up all the time. I'm like, so it's just cool how God will send different messengers. Like to me, like as soon as I heard what this was about, I'm like, I don't know what they were really gonna be doing. And he's like, well, it doesn't even matter. Like you just go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like you said, I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. Like I said, for us, it's a daily work in progress as you keep moving. And as long as you keep the foundation right, I think, who knows where it's all gonna go. But yeah, we'll see. Hey, you guys got to play it. I don't know if she's okay. The steering wheel will be if I get one tip, especially for all the men out there, just take your hand off the steering wheel, which is don't hide that out, because it's hard. And it's probably for everyone, but I'm speaking like for dudes in business, just get your hands off the wheel. And I like your strategy. Hey, who am I supposed to network next? Sounds a lot easier. Hey, why don't make a list? Just pray for a little bit. The list will come to you, right? But I think that's important. It's a very good nugget you gave there, because I think a lot of people stress so much about trying to make it work. And it's like, why don't you just calm down, dude? Like you're taking way overdrive. And that's where anxiety comes in. And that's one thing I tell all the agents. I said, listen, your job is to get the information in front of them. I don't care what the result is. Like you don't get to actually, you think you're controlling that, but like you're not controlling any of that. Like you don't know what it's going to do. But if that pressure's off, everyone's guards down, and then God will go do what he's got to go do. And that's one of the reasons I think we're moving so fast. And it's not just growth in that, because everyone thinks your reward's money. That is like the least valuable asset. Yeah. And then we realize it's just a resource. Like you've been getting resources to do certain things, but it's like sometimes you're wondering, like, wait, should I get rid of the house because all the money's not mine? Like, I'm kidding a little bit, but like if you just focus, it's not money. Like it's never gonna be that. That was like, and then anyway, so I'll just leave it there. Like the blessings, like your prayer in there is like, but your blessing could be the fact that you get home and your wife still loves you. You know what I'm saying? There's your blessing, right? I'm just saying, like,
it's good and healthy now.
It's just not what. It's. But I think we want it to always be the thing, and I think the other thing too is people don't wake up enough and just say thank you. And so you can't every prayer. Can I get the next? Like I used to pray everything. Prayer was, can I get the next? It doesn't work like that. It's like, how about you just wake up and say thanks for everything I got, and then just shut up and go to work. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so simple. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's so much easier than people have to make it be.
Yeah. And I think too is like going into business, like I mentioned, is like we have this preconceived notion of like, oh, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this, and then like you don't realize all the hard work that goes into it. And then I was that way. Like I was making a lot of money, and then it stopped, and then I was like then I went to church, and then I just started putting faith. I put my family, and then all of a sudden my business started to flourish. And then, I'm not saying don't work hard, because you obviously have to work hard in business.
Yes, work hard.
Yes. But,
smart.
It's like, okay, do I dedicate, my time going to church? Even if you do online services or like you're doing something, as my kids, is my daughter taken care of, is my wife taken care of, and then is my business taken care of? I think if you put those three in that order, and then you have a little bit of faith along the way, like things are going to work out. Like, yeah, sometimes they won't, but again, that steers you to a different path. Because like we talked about earlier, is like, I may not earn 10X, but I earn 5X here. But then a year later, I earn 30X, on there. So
I have two verses I wanted to share today, and you just reminded me of them. So one is Job 22, verse 28, paraphrasing. When you commit your plans to God, he lights your path and gives you purpose to every step. And then this other one was pretty cool. Deuteronomy 8:18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth to build his kingdom. And I think that's especially with like what you were saying earlier, like you have this big community, this huge business, but you're building his kingdom through it.
Listen, the day you stop thinking you're doing it, it's the best day of your life. There ain't no way we're doing all this. There's no way we even got in this room all together. Come on,
What are the odds?
Like I'm saying,
right?
there's no. It is very freeing though, because it is funny. Like the more you die, like you're not. You think you're off track. You're on we think we're off track because we have our own track, but you're actually never off it. He's putting you right where you need to be. Just realize it's an everyday journey, and the more you realize it's never been you and it's never going to be you, then things can get a lot easier. Doesn't mean you don't work hard and do certain things, but everyone's like, you're so successful. I'm like, I'm not even that successful. Like, I'm not even that good at what I do. I'm just kidding. Like I kid all the time because anyone can do what we're doing. It's like, but like, it's not me doing it, right? Like you gotta, like, even when I was doing it, you're pretty successful, but like, what is success? The other thing, what's your definition of success? That's what everyone always goes to, like the things and the money. Everyone sees I moved I live on the golf course now. I could care too less if I live in that golf course or the house. And I still kept my other house because I like it. Like I like where I was at. But we moved over here because it was just things evolve in your life. Everyone like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, there's like coyotes in my backyard. I got deer everywhere. I'm freaking out every night before I go to bed. Like, I'm like,
Did you hear about the mountain lion the other day?
I don't know. There's things out there I don't want to know about. I still run. Since 14 years old, I run to throw the trash out. I'm a grown adult. Okay. So like I try to do I'll use your strategy. Lord, run with me. But my point I'm trying to say, like, you're still gonna, cause I like pets. Like I'm being honest with you. Like I have this huge fear of big old dogs, right? One time when I was a kid. So everyone's like, oh, get over it. I'm like, I'm not a veterinarian, so I'm good. I just don't go with pets. But I guess my bigger point to all of it is like, I think if you tie it to in our show for business today, right? Like it doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't change whether you're doing it in your business, you're doing it with your family. I think the more we can get to that spot, and like, I think I love what you said. Like, as long as you got your dude on your side, then everything just works their way out. I think we compartmentalize too much. That's what I've done my whole life. Like, oh, it's different with business and this. No, I want them next to me in my marriage. And I tell everybody this, I will say this. I say it to all my agents and everyone I get to talk to. Stop settling. Like, you can have the greatest marriage, the greatest fatherhood or motherhood. You can have the greatest business. You can have the greatest friendship. Like, why are we all thinking if everything's supposed to be in abundance and great, why do we limit, say, like, well, I have to have a great business, my marriage has to suck? Well, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not very hard. Like, take your wife out, dude. I'm just saying, like.
No, but I think it's so true what you say. I think a lot of times, like, we limit ourselves based on what we can see as possible. And when we have a relationship with God, he helps us have faith in seeing the impossible. So whenever like I'm praying and things like that, sometimes like someone would say like, that's a very big prayer, or like, that's a very like lavish prayer. Like, why would you pray like that? And it's almost like, no, it's possible, because you could pretend there's like two buckets. And one bucket is specifically dedicated for small prayers, and the other bucket is dedicated for big prayers. I was like, most Christians are using up all the small prayer buckets. So that is like gone. No one is making big prayers. So I'm just like, that's like free reign. God's like, please challenge me, because no one is.
Just love that.
All right, here we go, dude. Hey, she locked in. I'm not saying one more word after that. This was a great podcast. Hey, forget what we said. Just the two nuggets for the day. Go to the lady on the left in the great scripture here. I love it. I know I said I'm done, but you're so right. Everyone, if people aren't making fun of how big you're saying, like, you should just be speaking everything out.
Because I started doing that before my real estate appointments. Like, is this a big bucket or a little bucket?
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, but it's truth in life.
Yeah.
Like, everyone limits. It's our mind, man. That's what the enemy gets you. He gets you up here. He can't get you in here.
Well, it's like
he gets you between your ears, man.
I think it was Bruce Almighty. I saw a clip the other day, and it was like with Morgan Freeman. He was talking to the girl, and he's like, if you pray for patience, does God give you patience, or does he give you the opportunity for patience? And it's like, same thing.
Oh,
It's like
my wife saw me. She's like, "Do not pray for that because you're gonna give us a work." Like she gives me certain words. Do not pray. She's like, "Don't pray for that work." So I'm like, "Oh, give us this." She's like, "No, because he's gonna make sure we can show you if you have it or not." He's like, "Leave that one alone first for a little bit. We got our bucket." But anyway, she started teaching like, "Stop pray." You're like, "I love you, but please don't say that word because you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna test to see if you have it." I'm like, "Oh my God, no! Give us all the." But one more thing I will say, which is cool, like I always say this because like we just moved out. But I bought this house in July and I did not want to leave. I'm such a homebody, normal person. Like we didn't move in for like 9 months. Everyone's like, "You bought this house, you didn't move." I didn't want to leave. I'm comfortable. Right? I like it. But what's cool is the other owner of the company, we bought his house first. So he lives on the top. He's been very successful for a long time. Like, dude, you go first and I'll go after, right? So like there ain't very many people where both the people live. Like that's the part I'm trying to say. Like everything we're doing, we're trying. And I tell everyone, like, hey, find a plot. We all would be at Universal Wealth Mountain. Everyone live up here. Like, but challenge. Could you imagine if, like, I've met some neighbors. I'm not gonna say, okay, I want to get some Jesus up there. Okay, so my point is like, if we all like lived up in that, like, it would change. Cause I just how I roll. I roll like I roll. Like, but then it's like It's not our house. I was telling everybody, this isn't ours. This is his house. This is hey. That's why it radiates. That's why everyone seems to keep vibrating towards it. Like and it's crazy. But I'll tell you this: the day that you start thinking it's you, go home. I love what you said. Go let you know. Anyway, but it doesn't. Anyway, I just think
you're building that community.
You think it was very, very powerful. You got to talk more on this. She needs to talk more. Hey, you guys, no, you're good. I know we're supposed to be the guests, but very powerful. I mean, I'm going to go watch everything. And I'm very intrigued to see what you guys talk about.
Season 1 is fully out.
Yeah. But I'm proud of you too. Listen, for being a entrepreneur business, like this is entrepreneurship. Like whether you're in the lane, you're putting yourself out there. There's vulnerability. It's scary. I didn't notice your first one on camera. Good thing Will looks pretty good on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. But it was cool. Like you guys are expanding into what you're doing. And
you want to see how God worked in this? Right before you guys got here, because again, first time on camera, I was a little nervous, and I'm like, Val, like this kind of came last minute, I think 2 days ago or something like that. But anyways, like we prayed about it, and then like not even 10 minutes later, Marcus shows up, and like honestly, thank you, Marcus, because you gave us some pretty solid like tips on setup and like just it calmed the nerves, and I was like, dang, God answered that so quick.
He did,
yeah, and then like conversation,
with his angel wings coming in,
right?
Hey, we know who's leading it. Yeah, I called him. I was like, bro, hey, can you come over here real quick? I'm telling him like an hour and a half ago, hey, can you drive? Because I thought about it because God just pops in your brain. I'm like, that'd be cool. Because I really think this is awesome. Like, especially where I'm at in my life. Like when he called me, I was like, what? Because that's why he keeps smirking because he knows everything that's going on. Like we literally just put this all on the line. Like, and we're like watching, like if everyone could see what's going on, you think Rome's burning, but it's all not. And it's all good. But like, it's crazy. Like you don't know this, but I pulled out a certain very lucrative business things I was in because of some of the stuff I see. Like no one ever has a clue what's going on in your life. But I'm like, you can't leave one toe somewhere else, and you gotta let it rip, man. Yeah. So this is cool for me.
One, I think gives people to see us in a different light because they see you as, a business guy, or like our players just see us as a coach. Like they, because, I would say like our football players, they don't look at us as business guys. They're just like, coach. Yeah, they're a bunch of Neanderthals running around and like looking at us as like football coaches, or like they know Jayson owns Universal Wealth. They know I'm in real estate. Like they know, but our friends too is like, like you said, people, oh, you're so successful. You're so successful. Well, this gives them an opportunity to see like why the foundation of like why we're starting to be or why I'm starting to be successful.
Same.
Why you're here. And then like you guys having the opportunity, or you guys giving us opportunity to come on here and share like what makes our businesses tick on there. So
yeah, and I'll share this last thing for me, and then I know we're going to wrap. So 4 weeks ago, so this is what I'm saying. This is surreal. The phone call tripped me out. Like you guys have no clue. You will know more because we'll all get to know each other more. But like 4 weeks ago, so I tell these guys, I'm like, dude, we got to like, because I talk to him all the time. Like I'm like, dude, like he always says your North Star never gets off. That's what he always tell me, right? But like you still could be influenced because you're trying. One downfall that I've learned, especially people that have big hearts, like you're trying to please everyone. So even though like you're always taking in ideas, but you're like, these are terrible, but I got it. Like, you're trying to always do it. But if you just listen to one voice, it can block it out. That's why I'm liking what a lot of stuff you guys are saying is very good because it's resonating. But anyway, so I'm at church, right? And I've been going to that church for a decade. Okay. I've never walked to I've been down to the front with prayer partners in the last 3 weeks. I never went before. Like, I'd always be the guy that's like, I got it. I used to watch Machine Gun Preacher. I just love that movie. For some reason, I feel like I'm going there right now. But anyway, so my point to all of it is, like, I never would go up. I'm like, I was cool where I was at doing my prayer. So 4 weeks ago, I'm sitting there and they're doing worship and I'm bawling. I'm like, what is happening to me? So I'm like, I can't control it. So I'm like, what is happening? And all I kept hearing is go. I'm like, oh, what do you mean I'm not going? I'm like, who else talking to me? It's like, go. And I'm thinking of like, I got to go to the front. That's how I keep feeling. I got to go up there, right? So I grabbed my wife's hand and like, she's like, where are we going? Like, what are you doing, right? And she's like, first of all, like, I'm like, and I go to like take a step and she's kind of like, I'm like, I got to go to the front. And I'm like, I just can't control it, right? My kids are looking at me all weird, like, and I'm very like I'm my hands are up all the time, ready, man. I'm like, right. So like, I have to get up there. So, but this is how I know about this. So I keep referencing the steering wheel thing. Okay. This is like a couple weeks ago. Okay. So deeper in this. So I start walking to the up and I'm like, I'm recognizing a couple couples up front that I know. So I'm comfortable. And I'm going with this. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to line up to get, I'm literally walking up. I'm like, all right, God, I'm going with whatever you tell me. And then I see the people. I'm like, I'm going to those people. I'm like, oh my God, this is how dumb. Dude, I'll just speak for myself, but I think I fall in all men category. I'm just kidding. But I'm getting up there and he shakes my hand, the guy, and I'm like, can I have them? Literally right at the foot. I'm like, can I have that guy? And my wife nudges me and she's like, will you just let God lead? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you can't control yourself here. And I'm thinking like, geez, I'm not very smart. So, but see, that's what I'm saying though. Like, I had to take her. I would not go up there by myself the first time. And think if we weren't at church, I would never, who am I going to grab? My 10-year-old right now? So anyway, so we get up there and then they like, she nudges me. So I just go around, right? So I go all the way, we're like walking around the whole thing. Like, oh God, everyone's watching me go up there now. It's all church. So I get over there and it's like, I know the guy, but he don't know me ever. But I know he's like third in the high, like whatever. He's very like way up there, right? So I get to him and his wife, and he don't recognize me because we don't know each other really. So anyway, I said, okay, I want to pray for my marriage. Then I want to pray for my mom. And then like we're about to make a very big business decision. I think it's going to freak everybody out. So we go pray for them. We have 5,000 people, dude.
Yeah.
This is a small decision. It's like, this affects a lot of people. So then he goes and he's doing good, right? And then his wife's like next to me and she's like, I don't know what the hell. I'm like tripping because she's like not there, dude. She's like, I'm like, what? She's like this tall, but she's like in it. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? And then I turn and she looks at me and I'm like, oh my God, why you look at me? And no, listen though. And she like puts her hand on my chest. Like it felt like Andre the Giant hit me in the chest. Like she put her hand on my chest and she goes like this. There's a light over you. She's going like this to me. Right. And she's like, there's a light on your business. And she says, but if you don't let God lead, you're going to ruin it. She pushes me, like not really hard, but it felt like it was hard. But she pushed me like, and I said, what the hell? So I'm like, all right, listen, dude, if this isn't like a sign for like, so then she like comes back. Like I thought she was there, but I don't know how to explain this, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah. She was there, but not there. Okay. You had malaria. So you know what I'm talking about. You were gone and came back to life. Okay. So something like that feeling, but maybe different. Right. So anyway, so I'm kidding a little bit. I like to joke around. Sorry. So anyway, so we end up going back and then I talked to my dad later and I was like, hey, Fred and his wife, I said, I don't know her name, and my mom walks in the room and says, did she like leave her body? I was like, no, she was like another planet. It was like I kept saying, it's the only thing I could describe. And she's like, when she has those moments, like something's trying to get sent through you. So like, I don't know if I'm just super hard headed. I need to have every side in America go, but like that, like I'm telling you, this is 4 weeks ago. Right. And like, even to then, like people are saying they're letting it go, but like, we're not really letting go. Like that's why like, this is for me, I'm going to speak for myself. This was a very good sit down because this is even more confirmation of like, when I let it go, you're going to frozen. Like, but it's true. Like, so anyway, I appreciate you guys having us on. Hopefully it helped you guys with some business stuff here. It's very simple. Stop trying to do everything by yourself. Okay. You're never going to get there. And if you're in business and you're responsible for other people, you're affecting all their lives by taking control without giving it up.
Well, any final words?
Just follow your faith as your blueprint for your business and the rest will fall in place. You're going to have the hard times. You're going to have good times. Faith, family, business.
And this was Faith Talk with Val
And Sony.